Are there any motions to take note of answers? Senator Collins.
Thank you, Deputy President. I rise to take note of answers to all coalition questions.
Yep, you have the call, Senator Collins. Go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy President. Well, colleagues, wasn't that very, very telling today to see the response to our questions on net zero, to have the minister absolutely panicking about the question that we asked, evidence that we put to him from the ANZ CEO, Mr Nuno Matos, that was put to the House of Representatives Economics Committee, and he called that dishonest. That was evidence given by somebody outside of this parliament to this parliament. And that evidence was that some still believe net zero by 2050 is possible. But I would say, at this point in time, it seems to be difficult to reach with the current dynamics, with the current technologies, with the current public stance in many parts of the world. He also said that by 2050, that net zero by 2050 could be the medicine that kills the patient. I don't know if anybody else in this chamber saw the news last week that found asbestos in the wind farms that are coming in from China. Perhaps just in that part he is absolutely right. Industry just can't do it with the current technology. And it is time that, as we saw this morning with the Defence Tribunal Awards Bill, that this government again admits that it is wrong. We heard from the minister that the government's approach is to take the lowest cost approach. But when asked by Senator Babet about the security risks, the sovereignty risks with having State Power Investment Corp, which is owned by the Chinese Communist Party, which is governed by the Chinese National Security Law 2017, which means that all of its employees have to do what the CCP wishes with that business. That is a massive security risk. That goes outside our levels of security, of scrutiny. We heard issues of malware and kill switches, and yet the Labor government's approach is for the lowest cost, which we have seen is absolutely not happening. The families are hurting, small businesses are hurting, and industry is hurting. Deputy President, I also asked Minister Ayres about the 180 workers that will be sacked by Rio Tinto, that was sacked last week at its production at its alumina refinery to align with the decarbonisation pathway. Well, this is deindustrialisation. And the minister said, my message to those workers is to work with your unions. It is the government's fault that they are losing their jobs and they are driving them to grow the business in unions. It's outrageous, absolutely outrageous. He said, work with the business and the federal government that backs you. Well, that business is no longer going to be there. How can they talk to the business that can no longer survive because of Labor's net zero agenda? And of course, we all know that the federal government is not backing these workers because they're sticking by this net zero agenda that is killing our industry. And remember, behind every job that is lost is a family that is suffering. Children that might not have enough money to buy their shoes to go to school or have their breakfast in the morning. Behind every job that is lost is a family that is suffering. And what we see with the damaging Labor net zero agenda, higher bills, stagnating emissions and suffering families. That is the farce of all of this. Time ago, Glencore copper smelter. These are the other places that are suffering too. And we heard from Orica CEO Mr Sanjeev Gandhi that industries like ours, which are hard to decarbonise, depend on technologies that are not yet commercial. This is why in the next decade bills are only going to increase because of the scale of the cost of this transition.